I've had a fair few emails from some of you asking if you should invest in VinFast. Now, I can't give you expert advice technically because I don't have a license. And if I do so here in Australia, I get fined $400,000. But I'm still going to share with you my opinion. This is just my opinion, not giving you expert advice. VinFast, should you invest, or is the fact that they're already laying off staff in the United States right before they prepare to list on the stock exchange a red flag? Hello and welcome to the channel. I'm the Electric Viking. Great to see you. Thank you for tuning in. Hope you've had an amazing day. And you know what? I've got to say, I am very tired at the moment because getting ready to fly to Thailand. If you want to know what all that's about, I'll put a link in the description below. VinFast, they are waiting on a shipment of electric cars coming to the United States. Now keep in mind, this is a company that plans on selling you the battery pack as like an extra rental. So you rent the battery pack, or you can buy it separately, or to be honest, there's like a million variables for you to buy one of their cars. There's so many options that I'm just confused even thinking about it. I think everyone is. Now what happens when you walk into a shop, right? And there's like 100 different packets of macaroni cheese, or 100 different packets of anything, of one thing, right? You get confused as hell. You just go, analysis paralysis, right? So they call it in marketing terms, analysis paralysis. Now that's the challenge that VinFast are facing with orders. That's the key reason why I believe they're not selling that many of their cars, aside from the fact they're also a bit too expensive when you factor in the reality of renting their battery and realize that actually it doesn't make financial sense. I think most people are smart enough to work that out. Now, as a result of all this, it appears as though VinFast are laying off staff in the United States. Now, of course, they're not saying this is the reason. They never have. I mean, they did the same thing here in Australia. They set up operations here in Australia, hired a bunch of staff. In fact, they bought this massive facility, cost tens of millions of dollars to buy this massive testing track, other facilities in Australia. And then just overnight, they disappeared, fired the staff, sold off the properties, and decided, no, Australia wasn't the place to be, which I think they were right on that. Let's go to the United States. However, I don't believe that's quite working out the way that they had planned. And going by what many of you are saying, this was pretty obvious that this would happen, right? Well, VinFast are now cutting their workforce in the United States. The company said on Monday amid a restructuring in its major overseas markets as the startup is grappling with a stalled shipment of its first cars and prepares for a potential stock listing. The Vietnamese company is a subsidiary of conglomerate Vin Group and has been moving to expand in the United States, where it hopes to compete with existing automakers. A VinFast spokesperson said headcount would not shrink in Vietnam, though, where most of the company's staff, including its factory and engineering operations, are located. It's not immediately clear how many US jobs are going to be lost in this restructuring effort. But realistically, VinFast doesn't actually have that many staff in the US to begin with. VinFast said it hired about 150 people in the US, many in sales, support, and distribution roles, part of a model that bypasses traditional dealerships, which makes a lot of sense. The company started operations in 2019 and last week said it would delay its first batch of deliveries to the US to the second half of February. Now, my key question is, why are they doing that? Well, I think it's pretty obvious, right? Put two and two together, not that difficult to work out. In late January, VinFast said it was merging its US and Canadian operations into a single business unit. It didn't announce any job cuts at the time. But why was it merging those two together into one business unit? Obviously, sales are not going as well as they had hoped. Now, VinFast said in a statement to Reuters it was looking to streamline North American operations and would work with third parties to increase the quality and speed of its customer service. It seems to appear that that's where the problem is, that it's the quality and speed of its customer service, or it's the ability of its sales staff to close sales. Hard to close a sale when you're selling a product that, well, first of all, people don't know much about it. Secondly, it's overpriced. Third, it's a model that no one really understands, this whole renting a battery system. VinFast said there would be no net workforce reduction in Vietnam. We review employees' quality of work frequently and dismiss those who do not meet our requirements, it said. We will recruit new replacements. Who knows what they were referring to there. The company has shipped its first batch of 999 EVs to the US in November and targeted the first delivery of those VF8 crossovers in December. But the vehicles have been held at a port in the US West Coast while the company works on software updates. No idea what's going on there. Really don't know. And hey, the other thing is these vehicles are not made in the United States. They don't qualify for the IRA. I mean, that's a $7,500 penalty. In fact, it's more than that because they don't get any battery incentives either. Could be more. So very difficult, because when you think about the fact that VinFast are manufacturing these in Vietnam, wherever else, then they've got to ship them all the way to North America, got to pay for shipping fees. Then they go get the $7,500 tax credit. Very hard to compete. I just don't see how this business model was ever going to work. Yeah, VinFast do plan on manufacturing eventually in the US, but I think they had to start there, not finish there, to be able to actually compete. And right now, obviously, demand for cars is going down. It really could be worse timing for the company. So, VinFast are waiting for regulatory approval to begin construction of a $4 billion vehicle assembly plant in North Carolina. The company had initially targeted a start of production there next year. It said in December it had filed for an initial public offering to list on the NASDAQ under the ticker symbol VFS to fund its expansion. VinFast is looking to compete with established automakers at a time when major automakers are driving prices down and looking to take advantage of new tax credits for qualifying models in the United States. I mean, for example, the Model 3 is definitely cheaper than the equivalent VinFast model. It's a known product. The same thing with the Model Y. It's cheaper than the equivalent VinFast model. It's a known quantity and it's cheaper. If you include the EV incentive, it's actually significantly cheaper. It's very simple to buy a Model Y as well in Model 3. There's really very few options. There's wheels, right? Colors, and there's really only a couple of models. So really, really simple model. I think that's what works so well for Tesla. VinFast, on the other hand, it's too complicated. It's an unknown product. Yeah, if you invest in this company, well, you've got bigger balls than I do, that's for sure. Anyhow, VinFast vehicles are not eligible, like I said, for the $7,500 credit. That should tell you all you need to know about how this company is going to go over the next couple of years. Whether or not they do invest $4 billion in this factory, it's going to take them years to get that off the ground to start producing vehicles from the United States. So yeah, between now and then, they need to sell cars, and they're not going to sell many in the US. Where else will they sell them? Don't know. It's anyone's guess. Unfortunately, this is not something that I'd be taking a risk on. That said, hey, I want every EV manufacturer to succeed. I hope that they do. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.